Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Monday, 8th September 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. A total transformation of Jamaica's Gordon House when it resumes for the swearing in of members of Parliament. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family, yes we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. The post-election House of Assembly in Jamaica will take on a totally new appearance when members of Parliament would be sworn in ahead of its first sitting. The opposition's side will have risen, with 15 more seats filled, with the government's side seeing a reduction of that same number despite holding on to the seat of government for an unprecedented third term. CVM's Andre Jebinson fills us in.
Gordon House will look different when it resumes after the September 3 general election. The chamber will now reflect a political landscape that has been redrawn by the electorate. The most glaring change is the balance of power. When members of Parliament last sat, the Jamaica Labour Party, GLP, commanded a comfortable 49 seats, while the People's National Party, PNP, languished with just 14. Now, the GLP will still sit on the Speaker's right, but with 15 fewer seats. The opposition benches, once sparse, are now crowded with new energy after the PNP rebounded. Another shift is the presence of women. 19 will sit in the new Parliament, 11 on the government side, and 8 in opposition. Among them are Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Favour Williams, Olivia Grange, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, and Crystal Lee, alongside a wave of newcomers like Nikisha Burchell, Andrew Perkis, and Heather Miller-Bennett. Fresh energy will also arrive in the form of 15 first-time MPs. 3 of them will wear GLP colours, while the opposition benches will welcome no fewer than 11 rookies. The newcomers include familiar names from civic life and politics: Delano Seavright, Audrey Marks, Steve McGregor, Omar Newell, Dr. Kenneth Russell, and Dr. Alfred Dawes, among others. Notably, the 2025 election also reopened the door for a number of political veterans: Dr. Dayton Campbell, Ian Hales, Dwayne Vaz, Peter Bunting, and Richard Azan, all of whom fell in 2020, return, this time wearing the confidence of a new mandate and accepting Vaz representing new constituencies. But where there are returns, there are also departures. 10 incumbents will not be walking back into Gordon House. Among the casualties are big names like Anne-Marie Vaz, whose defeat in East Portland shocked many, along with former ministers of state Homer Davis and Dr. Norman Dunn. Others such as Donovan Williams, Michelle Charles, Dwight Sibley's, and George Wright also lost their seats. The reshaping of Parliament is further underscored by a transition between chambers. Audrey Marks, Delano Seavright, Delroy Williams, Damon Crawford, and Peter Bunting have all crossed from the Senate to the House of Representatives, trading the appointed upper chamber for the bruising vote one legitimacy of the lower house. Andre Jebinson, CVM News.
A UWI lecturer on the important subject of psychology warns that election grief is a real emotional response after a loss. This TVJ News item with Kerry-Ann Simpson explains.
As the losers in the general election contemplate what's next, psychiatrist at the University of the West Indies, Wendell Abel, says election grief is a real emotional response that some people experience after an election loss. Speaking on the Morning Agenda Friday on Power 106, Dr. Abel explained that disappointment, sadness, and even anger are common reactions for supporters when their preferred candidate or party loses. When asked if some might see the idea of election grief as minor, Dr. Abel stressed that emotional reactions to political loss are natural and should not be dismissed.
Just feel your feelings and just give yourself permission to grieve. Don't suppress it. It's okay, and it's normal to be feeling whatever way you're feeling this way, the disappointment, the anger, the sense of betrayal, the depression, right? And just remind yourself that it's okay to be not okay sometimes.
Jamaica comes in for praise for its smooth and orderly September 3rd general elections. TVJ's Antonia Atkinson has the details.
An 11-member team from the CARICOM Election Observation Mission was invited by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, to observe the process and provide an independent, credible assessment. The mission noted that the polls were free of voter intimidation or harassment. Speaking at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on Thursday, Mission Chief Fern Narcis says the election ran smoothly, where she noted that the contingency plans were effective wherever issues arose.
Jamaica is leading the region in a number of reforms, particularly in relation to registration of political parties and campaign financing.
Narcis also commended the ECJ Center for its role as a central hub for the nationwide monitoring and fast issue resolution.
The introduction of the EVIS machine as well, we were aware of that, and so we were keen to look at that and see how that would have operated on poll day. And of course, the election center, something else that is quite attractive to a number of other Caribbean countries in terms of how that operates. So there are a number of features in your process that quite highly commendable, and they work very well. And certainly we were all very excited to see those types of organizations and how they operated.
She added that a full report, including recommendations to strengthen the electoral system, will be submitted to CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett before being released to the public. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The OAS Observer Mission, in the meantime, recommends strengthening the electoral system to ensure more effective governance of the process. Again, details provided in this TVJ News item.
This suggestion was presented in the mission's preliminary report following the September 3 election. Among the key recommendations is the implementation of a revised method for enumerating eligible voters. With voter turnout at 39.5%, Chief of Mission Dr. Kenny Anthony had some concerns.
In the administration of elections in Jamaica is admirable. Nevertheless, the mission notes that this confidence and trust does not appear to translate to higher rates of citizen participation in the elections. This outcome fell below the expectations of citizens and stakeholders.
The OAS mission believes conducting a comprehensive review of the voters list is needed to evaluate whether a more frequent updating process is necessary. It is also recommending the creation of formal information sharing mechanisms. This is through institutional agreements and coordination with the relevant authorities to support the ongoing maintenance of the voters list.
Over now to the only English-speaking South American nation, Guyana, where on Monday last they conducted their presidential and municipal elections, with the results only being recently ratified by the official electoral authorities GCOM. With the People's Progressive Party Civic PPPC set to form a new government and the We Invest Nationhood Win Party emerging as the main opposition. PPP General Secretary Bharat Jagdeo says there is still room for collaboration on national issues. Tiana Cole of HGP Nightly News reports.
With the People's Progressive Party, PPPC, set to be the ruling party, and We Invest the Nationhood Win set to become the main opposition in the new parliament, General Secretary Bharat Jagdeo said on Thursday during his press conference that there is always room for collaboration on national issues with APNU, noting that both parties tend to adopt patriotic positions, given their shared views on the country's territorial integrity and sovereignty as invaluable.
I think we had a common understanding on that. I'm not so sure about the Win Party. They're transactional. The link with Maduro is still not fully explored.
He added that he believes APNU miscalculated the Win Party and its possible influence.
We knew they were going to become the third force in parliament. We said this to many of their leaders. So we saw this happening entirely. It didn't catch us by surprise.
Jagdeo stressed that APNU now has to go back to the drawing table, explaining that their hatred for the PPPC prevented them from thinking strategically. He emphasized that when a political party allows animosity toward another party to dominate its tactics and strategy, failure is inevitable.
When they think about rebuilding, they have to think about how they tackle that variable and how they're going to relate now to that political party.
For the first time, the PNC-led APNU will not hold a majority opposition as the PPP is in government. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
But one day after the European Union Elections Observation Mission concluded that Guyana's general and regional elections were peaceful and orderly, Chief Observer Robert Biedron pointed to unequal campaign conditions, largely due to the ruling party's incumbency advantage. But the victorious PPPC General Secretary and Vice President-elect of Guyana, Bharat Jagdeo, was quick to dismiss the EU observers' concerns. HGP's Tiana Cole reports.
Public projects such as hospitals, schools, roads and bridges were inaugurated in a parallel with campaign activities, while state media and government social media channels amplified ruling party messages.
However, PPPC General Secretary Bharat Jagdeo pushed back during his Thursday press conference, saying that recommendations from international observers often lack practical application in Guyana's context.
You come into these countries and recommending things that don't work anywhere else in the world. It's just, for me, I just see them in the reports and they mean very little to me.
Jagdeo further argued that the government's developmental projects should not be curtailed during an election period. Instead, he said he would urge President Irfan Ali to continue delivering on promises such as building schools and hospitals, even up to elections day.
That they don't like, because that's what you campaign on. I wish APNU did that in the 5 years they were there.
The EU EOM was invited by the Irfan Ali-led administration to observe the 2025 general and regional elections. In its overall assessment, the EU concluded that although the elections were peaceful, inclusive, and efficiently organized, key challenges remain. These include political polarization, incumbency influence, weak campaign finance rules, and a partisan media environment. Biedron emphasized that addressing these issues is vital to ensuring citizens' trust in the electoral process, making them feel their vote truly matters. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family, yes we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.